traffic. Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I haven't done a podcast from my home studio in a while. I should probably do that at some point, even though it's not that good.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
No, it's good. It's good when you're at home and you are laying on the couch and maybe you're petting your cat and your cat bites you and you go ouch, and then you're watching the YouTube videos that you love so much on your flat screen. That's the greatest invention, the greatest development that I have ever seen. The fact that we now can watch stuff on our flat screen from YouTube.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Because once upon a time, we had to watch stuff on... When we were watching YouTube, it was just a tiny little
Mike's
screen
Daily
on our computer.
Podcast.
It was an office thing, wasn't it?
Yeah!
Look at this. Look at what Will Ferrell did with his daughter. It's so funny. Her daughter says bad words. Oh. Now the daughter's grown up and like, what, Dad, why did you make me do that? That was ridiculous. Did I see any money of that? No, nothing. So, Bran Muffin. So, the point is that we had a thing called YouTube that was waiting around to explode and become the biggest thing ever because they did this wonderful thing where they connected with all these apps that connect to your flat screen. Now, flat screens can access YouTube directly. It's wonderful. My flat screen's rather old. Flat screens, to me, are a nemesis. And I'll tell you, I was given my first flat screen. The first flat screen, I had this huge TV. It was a tube TV. It was giant. And it was heavy. And you needed 3 people to carry it and move it anywhere. And I got rid of that because my then wife's brother, my brother-in-law, was, hey, I'll let you have my flat screen. So he let me have his flat screen. And within about 3 months, he wanted it back. Yes, one of those people that give you something and then want it back. But I thought it was a present.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And there's a very nice way of saying what that kind of person is. So we'll just go with a nice gift giver. You misled me. I thought it was mine. Now it's not. So I had to give him back the flat screen. I remember my cousin, the one at the beginning of the show that goes, Mike's Daily Podcast. She was visiting from Germany at the time. And she was there when I had to help him bring the flat screen back to his car. And he drove off with it. At least I didn't have to drive it back to his house. That would have been really annoying. And then I had to go to Costco and get a new one. And I've still got that one. And Basil the Boxer. Why can't you take your dog into Costco? That's what I want to know. All the times I went to Costco with Basil the Boxer and he had to sit in the car. The late, great Basil the Boxer. So now I have this flat screen. I've had it for 8 years. The apps that came with it all don't work anymore. They're all done, broken. I have to do this weird dance, this weird workaround where I plug in. So Comcast Xfinity gives you this thing called Flex for free. When they said that, I didn't know that was going to happen. Thank you. I plugged that thing in immediately. The only problem is it works. The problem is it doesn't control the volume. So you're sitting there and all of a sudden something gets loud. You got to get up and actually, I would use the remote on the flat screen, and that's burnt out now. New batteries don't work, nothing. So I have to physically get up, and there's a button in the back of the flat screen I got to control the volume with. And that's called life. That's called first world problems, my friend. It's episode 2288, 2288, and it's Mike. Do you have carpal tunnel? I think I have carpal tunnel in my leg. Is that possible? My left leg's been hurting lately. It's almost like arthritis or something. It's a weird traveling pain. First it was in my hip, then it was in my knee, then it was in my foot, then it's back in my knee, then it's back to the foot. And my lovely lady friend pointed out, you know what? It's probably your back. You need to stretch more. I hate stretching. Oh, That's just not. Some of you take to stretching. You stretch so well. Good for you. Hands clapping for you. I have always hated stretching. When I was in cross country in high school, you got to stretch before and after you run. And I did all this stretching, and then I found out later I was stretching wrong, incorrectly. Oh, the times I was stretching, and I wasted so much time stretching. But they tell you got to stretch, you got to stretch. So carpal tunnel, after a day on the keyboard, you may have noticed that your hands feel weak. I am going to chalk it up, by the way, that it is my back that's affecting my leg, and that I probably need to lose some weight, because maybe the belly is getting a little big, and it's pulling on the back, and that's not good. So I need to work on that. So you got that tingly feel in your hand. Numb. It could signify carpal tunnel syndrome. CTS is a common nerve condition that develops gradually and causes numbness, tingling, or weakness in the hand and wrist. It affects an estimated 4 million to 10 million Americans, so don't feel like you are, poor me. You are sharing your pain with lots of people. If left untreated, CTS can lead to permanent loss of sensation and weakening of the muscles in the hand, causing significant dysfunction. So it's all about the median nerve that runs through the forearm into the palm. It and the tendons in the wrist pass through a narrow passage in the wrist called the carpal tunnel, which connects the forearm to the hand. At times, swelling of the tendons narrows the space in the tunnel and compresses the median nerve, resulting in the pain and the tingling and the numbness in the palm side of the hand. There you go. Usually caused by repetitive tasks such as computer use, vehicle driving, factory line work, food processing, packing, hair cutting, working a cash register. Heredity, injury to the wrist bone, hypothyroidism. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont today. Pregnancy and overactivity of the pituitary gland may also cause pressure in the median nerve. The CDC says women are 3 times more likely to develop work-related CTS than men, perhaps because the carpal tunnel is actually smaller in women. People with medical conditions such as rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes, and high blood pressure are at higher risk too. Poor posture can help. That might be what's causing my leg issues, is poor posture sitting in the chair. Got to sit up. That increases pressure on the wrist and forearm. There's also obesity that can affect it. The best way to prevent complications associated with CTS is to understand the symptoms, get prompt diagnostic testing, and undergo treatment to avoid long-term complications. A combination of your medical history, a physical examination, and lab work, including electrodiagnostic testing of nerves, will help with a CTS diagnosis. And then there are some wrist stretches you can find online to help you. Nutrition can help as well. You should avoid foods that can cause inflammation in the body, such as salt, sugar, and processed foods. Foods that are high in antioxidants may help in reducing inflammation, such as dark green or bright red vegetables, tuna, walnuts, and salmon. Also look for foods that are rich in vitamin B, such as spinach, bananas, avocados, and chicken. Says the Costco Connection. Thank you. So, I realize that an email can really ruin my day. Just a simple email from someone, can make my day suck. Get to know your email platform thoroughly. You might have been using your Gmail or Outlook account for several years now, but that doesn't mean you know everything there is to know about it. Many of these platforms have advanced features and shortcuts that can make handling your emails easier, and you are probably not aware of them. I like to throw a lot of stuff into different folders that I've made, but I try not to go too crazy with the folders. In other words, I don't want to make a bunch of folders, but just enough to help the situation. Shift 8U selects all the unread messages. Oh. Okay. There are many such features, tricks, and shortcuts that can make your job of handling and replying to emails easier. Find out what they are. Schedule email time every day and stick with the routine. You may be tempted to check your inbox every 30 minutes, but that can be very distracting. It can lead you to jump from one task to another, thereby wasting time and affecting your accuracy. There was a study that found that workers spend more than a quarter of the day reading and answering emails. A quarter of the day. You may think it's efficient to keep checking emails every 15 minutes or so you don't let them back up, but this can divide your attention from an important task at hand. What you can do instead is set up a schedule. Tell yourself that you're going to check your emails like once every 2 to 3 hours. Have a fixed routine so you don't get tempted to open your email whenever. Check email once when you get to work, later before you go for lunch, again during tea time, because you're British, and once before leaving the workplace. You all British, aren't you? Small British accent. Sounding southern all of a sudden. Close or block the email after your scheduled time. Declutter the inbox every day. Yeah, good luck with that, says Mike. I try and get the important stuff out of the way. Other stuff I just leave. Keep sorting. There's a... Oh, spam within the spam can cost between $600 and $1,000 per year for every user in time loss, productivity. This all from Woodpecker. Woodpecker.co, the Woodpecker blog. Thank you. We're outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont. Look who's here.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Shelling Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. We sell spam here at Cafe Anyway in the gift shop.
Oh, I didn't even know it was on the menu. We should fry some up. You know, I haven't eaten spam in so long. I like to eat the musubi. Isn't that where you wrap seaweed with some rice and spam? It's like a sushi, spam sushi. Love it. Look who else is here. I don't eat it that often. Because if I did, I would have much more of the aforementioned problem with the belly. The belly would be much bigger, I promise you. Look who's here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman! And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, this is very fascinating, this topic today. You know, you kind of remind me of the Unabomber. The Unabomber's cabin is at the museum in D.C. Is that still open? I am offended in so many ways. Okay, sorry. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Benita, the disgruntled fiddle player, and the brewmaster. If you have anything you'd like to chime in about, you can call me 336MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast has been now for, 2 days or so? Oh, and the Cafe Anyway podcast picture today is something from... Oh, looky here. Mikey got an email text. Oh, spam. Speaking of spam, I got a spam text. And what I hate is getting a spam text at 5 a.m. Even though I have the phone like silenced, it still pops up on the screen and I can see it. I hate it. I should chuck the phone, flush it down some toilet of some sort, and get it out of my view is what I am thinking. Because it's distracting and not good. So we had this beautiful picture from Fremont in the last podcast picture that I actually took after recording the podcast. You should see that at mikesdailypodcast.com because it's a hoot. We'll take this very nice picture of this cool house in Niles, California. I took this 2 days ago. See that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!